can move right into tea time.
Getting right along.
Get all up in Lea and Caige's business, honey.
Yep.
Come on.
Love it.
Come on.
Let's start with just giving some background. So, Lea, maybe you can start. Let us know how old you are. What do you do? What's your marital status? Do you have children? Just give us some stats so that our listeners know who they are talking to.
My name is Lea Young. I am fabulous and 40 now.
What?
Yes, my 40 turned COVID, so I didn't have no fun, but I made it here.
You are here, and you are beautiful.
You are gorgeous.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have
Neither would I. No.
Yes, I have 2 daughters. My oldest daughter is 21 and is a senior in Morgan State, and my youngest daughter is 3. So I have a nice big jump. I've been married for 4 years now, which is a whole new thing. But yeah, I 5 years ago started my own business, consulting and doing business strategies for companies and helping them to do community partnerships and really kind of connect with each other. And I've just been enjoying hanging out with my best friend. We just came back from Florida a couple months ago and we're ready to leave again.
I know that's right.
Come on. I know that's right.
Look, we are always about that travel life.
We are about that life.
I was telling Lea before you came back, like, we haven't taken a trip to the DMV because she's out in Maryland. So I'm like, we might have to do that. Just hit it for the one time.
Yeah, I feel like that's coming soon.
I think
you weren't on our call last night.
Okay, no, I missed it.
So we're gonna have to circle back to that, but I feel like that's coming soon. So
with it.
Besties meet with besties.
There we go. That's what I feel like
that's gonna happen.
Listen, she already told us about a restaurant, so we out there.
Yeah, oh, look. Oh my God. That's the gateway right there. Y'all didn't tell her about a restaurant. Lord. Now we going.
We going. So.
Come on.
Chanel is the biggest.
Gotta taste the food.
Yeah.
She is such a foodie. And I'm over here, I'll be like, so we can go. I'm just with it. I'm not a foodie, but I'm with it.
Whatever y'all want to do.
I was supporting my bestie. You want to be a foodie? I'm gonna be a foodie too. I'm just gonna be the boring foodie.
It's okay.
The bland stuff, but I'm gonna be there.
It's okay. You're
gonna be there. That's all that matters.
I love it.
So, Caige, give us some background on you, and you better not give us some age that's out there that you don't look like. Okay, I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of Black women doing that.
Not cracking it off. Not cracking.
Not even a little bit.
Leah, you look younger than me.
Listen,
how old are we? 34.
34.
Okay, I thought you was at least. Yeah, I was.
My body does not say that at
all. She
all.
look like a little old baby. My friend, little old baby. She look like a little baby.
Friend.
Well, I am 42, and I have 4 children. There are 3 girls that are 20. One is about to be 24 in a week.
Wow.
One is about to be 21, and one is 10, and then I have a son that's 19. I do have a 6-year-old grandson, so I am praying that none of them come flying by here. I evicted everybody before I came in this office. I am from the DMV, but I am living in Atlanta. I've been here 4 or 5 years, and I have been divorced for a very long time, but I'm now in a relationship after a 5-year hiatus of just working on myself and being single and healing and doing a whole just me thing. So I'm in a relationship. I've been in a relationship for 6 months. We connected with somebody I actually grew up with. We found out we were both here in Atlanta, and so I've recently cohabitated. So that is probably something I'm going to start writing about, because it's an experience after being alone for so long. But it has been amazing. I have a background in insurance, and after 20 some years of doing something that I could not stand, I finally decided to, I've always done something else in addition. So I've always had a business on the side, and about 5 years ago as well, I started doing brand development, brand and business development. So I work with business owners to develop their brand voice. I do graphics and social media content. And then last year I had decided to step out on a vision that I'd had years ago to start a magazine, and work towards doing more writing and speaking and things like that. So that is what led me to influence her.
That's awesome.
Oh, friends.
Hey. So how did you ladies meet?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Tell us your friendship story.
Carmen and I were both shopping online on a Facebook page that was owned by a model named Kirby Kim. She's a phenomenal model for Ashley Stewart. And she was selling all of her kind of sample clothes that they were giving her and bags and stuff like that. So every time I would go find something, she would post her email under it because she wanted it. And so it kind of became this thing between the two of us, like, excuse me, ma'am, stop taking my stuff. She ended up getting a bag I wanted. I was really upset too. And she got the bag in the mail and she said it was too small. So she sent me a message and she was like, do you want it? I'll sell it to you. And I was like, okay, you sell it to me. And we just kind of started talking. At that time of my life, I was leaving a relationship that was not great. And it was very difficult. And a lot of the people who I could talk to were in my circle of friends. And so they knew both of us. And they would impart their wisdom based on who we were from high school. And it just wasn't an outside voice. And so she was talking to me about my stuff and I was talking to her about, you know, her stuff. And we had never seen each other. She lived in Virginia, I lived in New York. And one day she was like, you should come visit. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get on the bus tomorrow. And we had never seen each other. We're total strangers. And so I bought a bus ticket to go to Virginia. And my daughter's like, what if she's a catfish? What if she's not real? I was like,
friend catfish.
I was like, well, if I get there and something happens, I'm gonna just get back on the bus and go home.
There we go, contingency.
And so her kids were kind of like saying, like, you gonna let this lady, and I was staying at her house. I wasn't staying in no hotel. I was going to her house. And so I took the bus. It was 8 hours over this crazy bridge. I don't know if y'all have ever been to Virginia, but there's like this bridge and water. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna die before I get there. I got off the bus and you would have thought that we were friends for like 50 years.
Wow.
We hugged and we was ready. And from that point, I would go visit her often. And then we just kind of became friends that turned into sisters that have kind of turned into like, she's my work wife, my regular wife, my, you know, if we could, you know, if we could take our husbands out of the equation. You know, and
sister wives.
Oh God.
No.
Sister wives.
No.
Look,
She's like,
he's like, you went too far.
No.
But we've kind of, we've walked the same journey. And so I know that there's no one in this world who, if I'm going through anything, she will not ride for me, even if I'm going to do something crazy and stupid. And there's no one in this world that will ride for her like I will.
Oh, I love it.
That's a great story. And how long ago was that this encounter took place?
We've been friends now for 8 years.
Wow.
8 years.
8 years. I'm taking my last.
Yeah. There we go. Snatch them off. There we go.
And when I met
snatch your
her,
wig, you snatch your lashes.
Hey.
You know what? I will snatch a W too. I will do that. I'll do that too.
And when we met, I was kind of in this place of this phase of no new friends thing, you know, because the rest of my friends have been my friends since middle school. Mm-hmm. And I went through this series of I left my hometown and moved to Hampton Roads. And in that time that I was in those few years that I was in Hampton Roads, I encountered a number of people, you know, trying to, because I didn't know anybody when I went there with my kids. My older kids were younger. And I had some really bad experiences meeting women and just the drama and the, you know, people just want to use you. So when we met, I was mentally going through this thing of, I don't need anybody else. The people that have been in my life, that's cool. I don't need anybody else. But when I met her, that knocked all of that out. Like, it didn't even cross my mind to be like to hesitate. So I know it was like a divine connection that we met and became friends.
I love that. And just hearing like the words that you all are using, like, you know, partners and just I think a level higher than just your typical like friend, but like divine connections. And we hear a lot of that with like male female like relationships, but never like with your friends. But it is that type of relationship as well. There's this deep connection. There is that like divine intervention to it all. So I think that's really great. So Caige, would you say that your recollection of how you all met is similar to what Lea just said? Because Sherry Renee and I shared our friendship story too of how we met. And like some of it is aligned, but some of it like you interpret things differently than they would.
Right.
So it's always interesting to hear what we both think and then compare the two.
That's exactly what happened. Like that, it was literally, and I remember her reaching out to me and being like, "Look, I have the wallet to the bag. I need the bag. And I was like, I bought it, And then when I got it, it was so tiny, and I was like, I'm gonna do this with a bag. Like, let me hit the girl up and see if she wants the bag because it's too tiny.
Right.
But no, it was literally like that, and it literally like every time something posted, I even got to where I was like, I bet that girl's gonna want this because everything was the same. Like our taste was the same. Like she can go and buy stuff for me, and just like if we're going on vacation or something, she'd be like, "How about you this and this?" And I can buy stuff for her and be like, "I heard you this and this," because we know what the other wants and needs. Like, oh, I never even got this. So you know what I'm saying? Like we do that kind of stuff all the time. But that's how it happens.
I love it. And I agree with what Chanel said. I think that there are divine connections among friends. And I think that they can also be purposeful. Like there's a reason, there's an assignment, there's something that you both are supposed to add to each other.
Yeah.
What would you say solidified the friendship where you was like, okay, that's my girl?
We have both been at times where we've had nothing. And when I say nothing, I'm talking about, do you have half of a chicken wing so I can feed my kids? And there have been times when I knew that there was no one else in this world that wanted to make sure that me and my daughter were okay than her. And I'm not talking about my family, and I'm not talking about my, my long-term friends, and I'm not even talking about my daughter's father. I'm talking about it was on me. And there was no way that if she had it, I couldn't have it. I think that for me meant so much because that normally doesn't come from a friend. That normally comes from somebody who feels obligated to be a part of your life, your spouse, your family, your mother. But mine was coming from a stranger. And it was really strange to have a relationship with somebody who genuinely wanted me to be okay. And so I remember one year I didn't have money to have Thanksgiving and she didn't have money to have Thanksgiving, and we had like a couple dollars between us. And so me and my daughter got on the bus and we went to her house for Thanksgiving. We put our dollars together. And when I tell you, our children thought like we had a feast. And we were looking at each other like, I don't know how we got, I think she got a free turkey and I went and bought the sides. And, so we have been through times where it's been nothing. And then we have been through times where, baby, it's been everything. It has been a la carte. We have had beautiful hotel stays. And so when you can go through nothing with somebody and then you can get to everything, you kind of just know that they're supposed to be there on your journey.
I love it.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely hitting home. Like I know where you're coming from. So I love that.
Yeah. And I love how you made the distinction between family, because a lot of people will do things for you out of obligation. But friends, they didn't make no vows, right? They don't share blood. They're not responsible, right? Like they don't have to do anything. So I do think it is so beautiful, and it means so much when somebody cares enough to make sure that you're good and make sure that you're okay, and then to do to go a step further and have that same care for your children.
Yeah, that's huge.
And then when neither of us have anything, she'll pray for me in a way that the days that I don't want to do it, she'll be like, nah, bro, get up, let's go. We're going to fight whatever this is that's in your way. And there are random times when, I'll just pray for her and be like, I don't know what it is. Or, we'll take times where we just can't speak for the day because it just sometimes can get busy or hard. And it'd be just like, I'm just, I'm thinking about you, and it'd be like the opportune time where you know that you needed that somebody who cared.
Yes.
So
No, that is beautiful.
It really is.
So what about you, Caige? What was it that made you be like, you know what, Lea, she a real one. That's my girl.
My favorite thing about my friend is that she will give me the hard, honest truth to help me make the right decisions and to help me navigate through things. Like most of my life, I feel like people have been like, I've been like the one that everybody came to for everything. So everybody disagreed with me. Everybody, like, there was no, and one of the biggest things I think about married my first husband, everybody just stood around and was like, but they knew it wasn't, Lea would have never let that happen. Should have been like, this is wrong, you're not happy, this is, like, she is just honest and gives me the real about everything. And I never have to question anything with her. I feel like I know who I'm getting 100%. And that means more to me than she probably ever realized, because I did have that. And people are still like that with me, but she's not. Like, I know I could be wrong, but because I know my personality, she's going to tell me, nah, bro, that ain't right. Don't do that. You're wrong with that. And the same thing, like, I know that I can go to her for anything. I can tell her anything. I can talk to her about anything, and I'm going to get real. I feel like I'm clear. Wait a minute.
I'm listen.
I'm gonna say, hold up.
So sweet. I'm like, oh.
Listen, we might have some tears. That's what happens here.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, like, I just like, sometimes even like we have those moments where we have those quiet days when we can't give, and we've learned to kind of feel each other out and read when that is. Like, oh, I'm not gonna push too much there. We just know on the backside to be praying for each other for whatever we're dealing with or whatever. And but I'll still be like, I need to know my friend is okay. Like, I still need to hear her voice. Like, I'll call her, she won't answer the phone, and I'll just be like, friend check. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it, friend check.
Yep.
Friend check. Like, and all she has to say is, I'm here. I'm all right.
Because if I'm not, she coming to my house to knock on my door.
Let me tell you something, Lea. That's how Chanel is, okay? Now, when she FaceTime me, I'll be like, oh.
It's a thing.
Because I saw the escalation, right? She sent a few texts, I didn't respond. She called, I didn't respond. Now she FaceTime me. So it's like, okay, if I don't pick up, I know she's coming to my door.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing that I can do about it.
Because I'm like, I'm giving you all the signals now.
Right.
Like,
look,
you gotta.
The flags were there. The writing's on the wall.
I just know at a certain point I have to say something, or else she's coming, and I just, okay.
Right. And that actually means something for y'all being in different places, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah. Because to me, like, a Chanel coming from 30 minutes away, and I'm like, oh, hell no.
People come from 10 hours away to make sure that and if she can't get me, she will call my husband, she will call my daughter, she will make sure that whatever immediate circle I have is like, is your mama good? Is your wife okay?
Right.
And she will always make sure that I'm okay. And for her, I think for me, it's more protection. I've seen people do her wrong, whether it's in business or in friendship or in partnership. And so who I am is that if we have a relationship, I'm loyal to an extent where we rolling. And so I won't, when she says that I give it to her straight, is because I won't allow anybody to disrespect her. And if that means that I have to be disrespectful, I have all kinds of right to be right in somebody's behind. She calls me FBI because I assure you, when she makes new friends, I'm like, okay, name and location. And I will do all kinds of information and background check to make sure we are good. I'm very protective of my friendship.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and it sounds like you developed that because you're like, that's what she needs from me.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're like, okay, people have taken advantage from her in the past, not on my watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Nope, not on this watch.
Not
But I
on
think
my
also we've had a conversation about what our, we have a third friend. She's a part of our crew too. And she's kind of like, I'm the extreme, Carmen's like one extreme, and then she's like our kind of, yeah. So there are a lot of times when she'll be like, oh, okay, y'all sure you should do that? Or y'all sure you should do this? Or, so she just kind of temperature checks us. But there's a lot of times where we both will look at each other, whether it's in our marriages or in our children, and be like, yo, you're going a little too far, kid. Or, she'll come at me and be like, just, let her go or let her grow. Or it's a lot of hand holding through the process of kind of growth as we get older.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be them old ladies, going on vacation, rocking chairs, talking about people as they walk across the street.
Yes, I love it.
Yes. Going to the casinos.
That's right. That's right.
I love
Yes.
it. I love that.
I love it. That's what I think too, is like we Chanel gonna be the real tacky ones.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like loud and tacky. We're gonna have our different sorority colors, but we're gonna be real loud and tacky. We're gonna be like, these old ladies, shut up, sit down somewhere.
And the ones like themed out, like don't let us go on a trip because we got whole themes and outfits that we have to follow.
It's a whole experience.
It's an experience.
It is. We plan out our trips. I'm the planner and she's the visual. So I'll be like, here's the schedule. And she'd be like, yes, and we need ambience and da 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 da. And I'm like, girl,
that is us.
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah, I can create the vision for it, and then she goes to putting it together.
That's us.
Yeah.
This is
be like, we should go here,
fun.
and then I'll come with you. We have other friends too who, they fill in the gaps as well. But I recently did a trip without Chanel, and I was like,
I need my friend.
Yes, I was like, we was eating basic food, and I don't know where to go eat, because I make fun of her for being a foodie, but apparently I need that, right?
Yes.
She's like, I don't know, this don't even feel right.
I was like, something's wrong here.
We go on trips with our spouses and we do that. I'm like, I wish you were here instead of him because we've definitely done that. And be like, I don't want to be with him. I want to be with you. Until like 10 o'clock, then I want to be with him.
I love, y'all are funny. I'm loving this so much. So how did it come about with the magazine? Like, have you all ever worked together before? So we've had an episode, I think, about that too, like working in business with your bestie and what that dynamic looks like.
Yeah, I think it was with Never Not Extra.
Yeah, it was.
It was Never Not Besties.
Never Not
That
Besties.
was the episode.
Yes.
Yes.
So what was that like for you all? Like, where did that idea come from for you all to work together, and how is that working relationship now?
To be honest, it wasn't a thing. You did it. She made me. It wasn't a question.
Well, she's always, anything that I've done, she is like right there supporting in whatever capacity I need her. And I always knew that we would do something together. And I always kind of felt like I knew the role that she would play, but I had to let her kind of, be like, I'm ready. Okay, for that. Because either way, she was always supporting and doing something anyway. Because that, she's gonna come beside me and be like, all right, what we gotta do, where we gotta go, what event we doing, how we gonna promote this, where we gonna, and then when the magazine came about, I knew that she would be the marketing director. Like I knew it. She's like has a brilliance for marketing and networking and connecting, and I knew that I didn't want to do it with anybody else. Like I knew that, but I had to. I was waiting for her to just be like, "All right, I'm ready to jump it."
She would make business cards and put my name on them.
Go ahead and tell us the real tea, Leah.
She would put business. She would write her stuff, and then she'd be like, "And director of marketing, you." And I'd be like, "Okay, lady, like I didn't sign up for this." And so the parallel to that, when you guys were talking to us about purpose, is At the same point in our life or juncture, we both left the homes that we knew and moved to states where we knew no one. Randomly one day, Carmen called and was like, I'm moving to Atlanta. And I was like, huh? She was like, yeah, tomorrow. And really, I mean, and she was in a truck with her kids. And like the next day we were going on vacation. And so her mother and her kids took their stuff down to Atlanta. And then the next day she was on a plane in Miami with us. And like, she didn't have a thing about it. And then I said to her, well, I'm going to move to Maryland. And she was like, great. And so, to be honest with you, that's how I met my husband is, shut up. When we first moved here, I didn't know anybody. She didn't know anybody. And I was like, well, I want to start dating. And she was like, well, I'm on this. And I was like, well, I'll do that. And she was like, well, for 30 days, you do it and I do it. And let's go on as many dates as we can. Honey, we done dated some. So the 30th day, she was talking to someone, his name was Mr. Right. And I just kept making fun of it. I was like, you finally found Mr. Right, you know, whatever. And I was in my, on my couch, like I didn't find nobody. And these dates was horrible. And my husband at the time, he wasn't my husband, but he sent me a message and he was like, I had on a giant search. I'm from New York. He said, your giants suck. And I was like, wait a minute, bro, hold up. Very similar to your Milwaukee feelings. Don't talk about my team.
Hello, don't do that.
And so,
right.
hello. And in this period of this chapter of my life, it was called Thotting and Bopping. So I was dating and doing it, living my best.
Living your best life, sis. Okay.
My best.
I love it.
Marriage was not in my cards. Children were not in my cards. I wanted to be the friend who was like, let's go.
Yes, the auntie friend.
Yes, I was going to be the auntie. I was going to be a niece. If you're watching Housewives,
yes, the aunties and the nieces.
Yes,
that's right. I was going to be a niece. They was the aunties. I was the niece. They wanted husbands and I wanted nothing.
There we go.
So when I met my husband, he was like, well, why are you on this, whatever? And I was like, well, I only want to see you on Fridays. I don't want no, whatever. And so a year later, I had my daughter, and a couple months after that, we got married, and they looked at me like, wait a minute.
You didn't want this.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah. So she's always been impulsive with her vision. I worked in real estate for 20-something years. She worked in insurance for 20-something years, and she was moving, I was moving. And then we both said, why don't we take the things that we've learned in rooms where a lot of African-American women are not allowed in real estate. Black women don't sit at the table. You sit in the office and you get the coffee. And so when I would walk into a room as an executive EVP, they'd look at me like, get the coffee. And I'd be like, no, baby, this is my seat. I made room at this table.
Get your own coffee.
When they made conversations, it wasn't at a desk. It wasn't in a boardroom. They were having lunches and dinners and, going to plays and shows and stuff. And that's how they were making relationship. And I was like, as a people, we've been doing this all wrong. We keep waiting to be invited to the table or the door. And they make deals on the golf course. So I was like, no. We need to bring community relationships and partnerships and business cultivating strategies to Black people, Black businesses. Black people get a bad rep about marketing and, you have good customer service. There's a lot more than just that. And at the time, Carmen started to do graphics and social media design. And that was when pre-Snapchat, all that. So she was doing these flyers and stuff. And people were like, oh. So I was like, well, you do this and I'll do this. And we would actually give each other clients. So if they did cultivating and marketing with me, then I would send them over to her for brand strategy. And if they did it with her, she would send them over to me. And so that's how we learned the expertise of what our purposes were. I know that you guys mentioned what's our purpose. Through our friendship, we learned our purpose. Mine was to be a connector. I wanted people to make relationship. And she can tell you hers, but we didn't find our purpose till we found each other. And so very similar to the two of you sitting there having this exchange is you're sharing your purpose with us. through just basic conversation. And it's grateful. It's a grateful place to be in, to sit here with women who are like-minded. Because a long time ago, we wouldn't have had this conversation.
I love that. Thank you. Yes, that's definitely what we strive to do. So I'm grateful when we have guests and they recognize it. That's our overall intention and our purpose, is to just have conversations with women and pretty much with anybody, but having people realize what their purpose is or thinking about their purpose. And our motto of the show, or our inspiration for this show, is to heal and help others as we heal and help ourselves. And we really do live by that when we have this show and have these conversations.
Yeah, I love it. I wanted to go back to what you were saying about starting and boxing.
We gotta rewind to get back.
I'm just gonna speed past.
We did kind of speed back. Okay.
No, I was just gonna. I'm not gonna get all in your business, but I just want to say back in my day with my friend Caige, and she'll be on another episode later. But we called it smashing and dashing.
Yes.
Very so funny how everybody has their own little way of saying the same thing. You said that.
And bopping, baby.
Okay.
Yes. We'll see you on
So
Friday.
after she met her husband, I got to carry that on for a little bit.
Yes, I passed the torch.
She passed it
Mr.
on.
Wright wasn't Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright wasn't Mr. Wright. No, so I got to carry on that sign and bobbing for a little bit.
Okay.
Wow.
It sounds like we need to have this pack to do 30 days. I need to do my 30 days. You need to do another 30 days. And then I'm going to be thotting and bobbing. And then our husband's going to come
Now
on.
she's going to have a husband.
And then
so
boom.
And boom.
Out of nowhere.
The husband going to be like, your butt suck. And I'm going to be like, hold up.
No.
That's right. Watch out for that. The insult needs to
we
like
already
you.
met them then.
Right.
Look, I've been hearing all kinds of stuff about the butt.
Oh my gosh.
But so then, Caige, what do you feel like your purpose is?
My purpose is helping women create a life they desire after trauma. And I am still working on how to present that and really make that available. I know that I'm supposed to be doing more writing, more speaking, more things like that. But and that's a huge part of the magazine, is putting things in there that helps with that purpose, that helps women that look at the pages. They get inspired, they get ideas, they learn to become visionaries for creating the life that they want after going through trauma. Many times, everybody just doesn't have the ability to say, I've been through this trauma, I've been, broken and hurt and this and that, and I've lost, I've been without, and then still come out on the other side and create something victorious, to live a life of victory after that. And so I just feel like women need the support, not just for the healing process, but to create the life afterwards. Because most of the time it seems like a lot of things focus on the healing, but now what? What does that look like? Does that look like relationship? Does that look like having children? Does that look like, getting into furthering your education? Does that look like starting a business? Does that look like starting a magazine? Like, what does that look like? So that is, and that's where the word influencer is, there's so many of us that, and I guess, when I think about like the stuff with social media and influencing and stuff like that, and we look at what being an influence is all wrong. And all of us have the ability to influence, even in the slightest way. And we don't have to have huge platforms. We don't have to be celebrities. We don't have to be what society is trying to make us think we have to be to have influence. You can just influence someone through your own kindness, the way you treat them, to say, you know what, everybody is not out to get me. Everybody is not out to use me. Like, just because they're receiving a certain kind of treatment from one person, that will influence them to change their mindset on how they deal with everybody. And so really where Influence Her came from, but it's based off the premise of, helping women to not just heal, but to create a life that they want to live after they've gone through loss and trauma.
I love that. What were you looking for healing from?
Ooh, child. Everything. I have, experienced so many things from even the beginning of my childhood. From, I've experienced rape and molestation. I grew up a product of an affair. So I didn't grow up with my father in the house. I have siblings I didn't meet till I have a relationship with until I was grown. I've been in an abusive marriage. I was a teen mom. I've been homeless. I have lost everything more than once. I've raised my children pretty much by myself. My oldest daughter is a teen mom. My second husband walked out on me a couple months after we got married and left me stuck with everything. There's so much, and in that process, I gained weight. I had health issues. So many things. I was a broken woman. And, God helped me heal. It's funny because I just tried therapy for the first time starting May, and I didn't like it. Like, when I think about how much I've healed and overcome with just Jesus, literally, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Just Jesus and having the support system that I have and my friends. And I even told Lea, I started going to a therapist because I was like, let me try to go to a therapist for my boyfriend who's in here for mess him up. You know what I'm saying? Let me try. And I told her, I get more therapy experience. Therapy with you is better. There's no point in going to a therapist. She's not giving me what I need. Lea is my therapist. You know what I'm saying? So I have been able to heal and recover with just pushing through with my faith and my friends. And I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of praying. I'm learning to take care of myself, self-care and, putting myself first, which has been very hard. And, I'm still healing from things. I'm finding that being in a relationship, and even though I intentionally took time to be single, I was celibate for almost 5 years. I did all of these things to do the intentional work. But I've learned that there are things I'm not going to heal from until I experience the opposite of what broke me in that area. Yeah. So being in a healthy relationship and experiencing these healthy things shouldn't be a challenge, but it has been. It made me realize that I still have a lot of triggers because I'm like, wait a minute, we're not going to argue about this? What do you're going to fix this? We're going to work on this? Oh, this is not an issue. It's so many things that when you're dealing with toxic people that you think you buried that, or you think you healed completely from it, but you really just kind of buried it and that residue is still there. But I really think that the healing comes from in some of that stuff from getting the opposite and realizing that you can experience something healthy and whole, and it doesn't have to be toxic and complicated. So did I stray away from the original question?
Well, the question was, what was it that you needed healing from?
Mm-hmm.
So much.
But,
Yeah.
As you were talking, it made me think of National Best Friend Day. And so we made some quotes on Instagram. One of them says, a friend who understands your tears is more valuable than a lot of friends who only know your smile.
Mm-hmm.
Another one says, best friends are the people in your life who make you laugh louder, smile brighter, and live better. And then this one is what you were saying about Lea. Sometimes being with your best friend is all the therapy you need.
Yeah. And I love what you both said at the beginning, that you both have been in situations where you had nothing. So for somebody to have that understanding, that foundation, that I know what this feels like, what you're going through, because I've been there. I've been there with you. We've been there together, hand in hand. So I think you mentioned that once before about therapy, that sometimes they just don't have the foundation. They don't have the background.
Yeah. So I too had an experience where I was like, okay, therapist, you're not that great. Shouts out to all therapists out there.
Because there's some great ones
some
out
great
there.
therapists
For
out
sure.
there.
Yeah.
But I think that it was more like, it's different when somebody experienced something versus somebody that was taught to do something, right?
Yeah.
So if you're trained to be a therapist, that's great, but it's even better if you can marry that with experience. Like, I'm gonna tell me how you were depressed and came out of depression. Don't give me textbook because I can Google it, right? I already did before I called you because that's who I am. Right. I don't just go to people with problems. I try to solve them first myself. So I need you to tell me something very groundbreaking. Otherwise, for me, it's almost like a waste of time. Not knocking therapy. I think that there are many ways that people can heal. I think that's one path and one method. There's also life coaches. There are your friends. Yeah. Right. Sometimes it's just talking things out, and sometimes it's self-reflection, and sometimes it's just going to that altar.
All of
saying,
those
Lord,
things.
I need to be here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The most special part, excuse me, that I can say for you ladies today is that is the first time my best friend has said any of that out loud.
And I was gonna say something about that, Caige, like how it just rolled off of your tongue. I was like, I know she's been healing. I know she's done some of that work, because it all just flowed through. Because we've had hard episodes too, talking about molestation, rape. We've talked about all kinds of stuff on our show, and it brings us to tears, like even just saying those things. But the way that you were guided and healed and rolling those things off of your chest, I was like, yes, it's like, it made me so proud of you, because I'm like, I know that was a struggle for you to do that.
Thank you. I didn't even think about that because she knows, like, in the past I would have choked up, or I would have probably stopped talking, or not even shared that. Because and I think that's been the biggest hurdle for me, is that I'm a private person. And so in building my business and having to put myself in front of people and social media and stuff like that, I tend to share little bits and pieces and things like that, but people would never know some of the things I've been through. So once I really start talking, but I knew that I had to be healed to a certain point, because obviously I don't want to start, being like, oh, let me share my story and I'll break down, So I do feel like now I can release those things, and there's purpose behind the word, other than me saying it because I'm hurt and I'm talking about it because I'm hurt. But I definitely, one of the things that has been so huge in our friendship is that God made us like these little friend seesaws. So on our up days, like on my up day, she's down. And so I have the ability to bring her back up. And on my down days, she's up. It's very seldom that we're both in the pit together. So one of us are always able to bring the other up out of what we're feeling. And that has been so vital, because we both experienced so much, and we both have been working on healing and growing and things like that. And sometimes there's weeks there every day when we're doing like this and bringing each other up. And that's a gift that you can't, like, I can't say that I've experienced that like that before, and I have some of the most amazing friends that I've had my entire life, but none of them, every relationship is different, but it's just, I don't know, it's hard to even put in words, but yeah, that's why I know that it's a divine connection.
That's beautiful. When you were talking, it made me think of the scripture, two are better than one because they have a good return for their work. If one falls down, his friend can help him up. But pity the man who falls and has no one to help him up.
Yes.
How blessed are we to have friends?
Come through with the word. Yes.
To lift us up.
Yes.
Because when you're down, that's a hard place to be, right? So,
Mhm.
no,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and Lea is totally like, you both are each other's person, like on Grace. Like, it's definitely. I love
And we'll be real transparent.
Yes.
I think that's a big part of our relationship, is that we've always been real and honest.
Mhm.
There's been times in our relationship when we wasn't gel and glue and sea salts. So that's another part of friendship that I think people think that once you've made this friend forever or this bestie, that there's never going to be any conflict. There are times when there are things that she needs from me that I'm not attentive to. And it may fall like, it may feel for her like I'm not paying attention. There are times when I've said to her, I need you here, and you know, we have distance. So you guys have 30 minutes. If I say I need her here and financially or business or whatever, you know, she's got going on, doesn't allot for that. There can be times where, because you have this connection with somebody, sometimes you need them to be there. You know, there's times I'm sure you guys have walked into each other and be like, I need to see you for coffee, like right now. My friendship is long distance. I cannot see her for coffee. I cannot, you know, we can't go have drinks or go get a spa day together. And so we have to be real intentional about saying what we need in the different seasons of our friendship. There are some times where neither of us need to be together all the time. And sometimes when I'm like, we saw each other 6 times in the past 3 months. And then a year before that, we saw each other once. So friendships require continual conversation. And I think that a lot of people think like, just because we're friends, you know me and I know you. That's not how that works.
Yeah, because we're forever evolving and changing every single day and growing and healing every day.
Healing. Yep. So my needs last year wasn't what they are this year.
It's an everyday thing. What's your signs? What's your zodiac sign? I'm just curious.
No, that's a good question. Actually, I was saying it in my head. I'm a Capricorn.
Me too.
Love you.
Yeah.
Lea, I knew it.
And I'm a Gemini.
Okay, Gemini. You just had a birthday. Happy, or it's coming up, or it's just passed. Just passed. Happy birthday.
I just had, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And so I
kind of feel like Geminis and Capricorns are like they're almost the same to me.
No.
Leah's like, no.
Leah's like, nope.
No. I don't.
Not the same, but they not the same. Like, but they're, what is the word? Like they're matched. Like they're.
Are they yin and yang? Are they opposite?
Yeah. So not.
Yeah, that
so
could
not
be
the
why.
same, but because so yin yang. Yeah, that's it.
I think. Are you a December Capricorn or a January Capricorn?
I'm a January Capricorn.
I am too. So
I knew it.
When's your birthday?
January 4th.
January what?
4th.
I'm the 14th.
Okay.
So Capricorns, particularly Capricorn women born in January, don't particularly like Cancers, Virgos, Geminis. Not our thing. Reason why is because they're very emotional people. They're very Geminis have 2 personalities. And Capricorns are stubborn. So there's a lot of times in our friendship where I'll be like, give me the person, just one person, give me one person. And then there's times when she's like, well, can't you just bend? Like, can't you just, think of out the box? And I'm like, it's a box, it's logical, it makes sense, that's it. Right. And so it's funny because all of the people who, because of my astrology and because of who I am in my relationships, is I don't like Virgos and I like Geminis, and my husband's a Virgo and my best friend's a Gemini. And so God knows better.
That's it. God be knowing.
Because Capricorns are very hard to befriend. I have had seasons of friendship. I probably still have one friend I've been friends with for 20 something years. But I think that even if I ran away from her, she would probably come with me.
What's her zodiac sign?
Right.
Oh, Carmen?
No, the one who would come with you.
Carmen would be the one who would come with me. Like her, and my husband both are like, if you divorce us, we're gonna like leave ourselves and come with you. Like they both have made it very adamant that our paths and our journeys will always, like Carmen and I cannot be her friend and she's still gonna be my friend. Like, and she has. There's so many times when I've been like, I'm not your friend. And she's like, yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
All right, girl.
So yes, it's being friends with Capricorn is hard. Sorry, y'all.
Listen, that is funny. It's
I
funny.
always say being friends with a Gemini is hard because there is, I don't like to give into that stereotype that people say that we have multiple personalities, but we are multifaceted. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are multifaceted.
I don't think we have any.
I don't think I know any Gemini.
Me either.
Except for my stepdad.
Okay.
But I don't know
Gemini?
that,
Oh.
no, my stepdad is though. But I don't know if I don't know that I know any female Geminis that well.
And the males and females are completely different.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I definitely don't either. Like I can't think of one off the top of my head.
It's so funny because the sandwich to our friendship, she's a Gemini too.
That is funny.
So they understand each other a lot better than I do. So there'll be times when I'll be like, what is she saying? And she'll be like, oh, she means this. And I'll be like, oh, okay, well, you should have just said that. But then there's times where both of them will have to be like, you're not looking at it from two perspectives. You're only looking at it from one. And I don't have that ability to be visual like they do, or I don't have that ability to look at all spectrums because I am one way. So it's very funny that our friendships, I'm the Oreo, they the cookie.
We look at it with all of our personalities.
I'm telling you, I be friends with everybody.
That is so funny. I knew it. I love that. So I want to know a little bit more about the magazine and what was the purpose behind the magazine?
The magazine is, I have always been into, well, let me just say, being a Gemini, I've always been into everything. So it's hard for me to say, I love beauty, I love fashion, I love lifestyle, I love health, I love, I just love everything about lifestyle stuff. Like anything that can help me to improve who I am, improve the way I live, learn more, entertain me, like I enjoy that. And I'm such a creative, and so kind of putting that part with being a creative and wanting to help women, inspire, motivate, help women heal, help women, a lot of times we need things and people can't, how can I say it? I feel like it's a way to influence all of those things, the healing, the lifestyle, all of that, without trying to make a person sit down and have therapy if they don't want it, if they're not ready. Am I making sense? Like, I don't feel like I'm articulating it the right way. But I feel like it's an amazing way to influence people and a way to help them, even if they're in a place that they may not be readily open to journey into that, but it could trigger, like they could read something that says, yes, thank you, because I'm saying that with a lot of things.
You got it, you there.
I think the most important part about it for us with Influence Her is that you are the definition of who you want to become. And so whatever that looks like for you, whatever way that you can impact the world around you, you're an influencer. You don't have to be a board executive. You don't have to be a celebrity. You don't have to be top notch. You don't have to be at the top of your game. You can be an influencer without food in your refrigerator, without clothes on your back. You can be an influencer with $1 million in your pocket or a dime. You have the ability to change your trajectory just by opening your mouth. And so we use our platform to allow other people to open their mouth. We stand on powerful women for years to come, your family, your legacy, your parents, your grandparents. And we just want to give a space where you can stand, and whoever you are and whatever that looks like, it's going to be okay.
Right. And what's really special about the magazine is that the people that are writing right now, like the people, our contributors, I literally, it was a divine thing. Like God literally was like, ask her, you know, like he led me to ask specific people. And the majority of them were like, I'm not a writer. And I was like, yeah, I don't agree with that. But I think you have something to say, you know? And so and I have watched some of these women transform many things about themselves in their own lives just from gaining the confidence of doing something that they were purposed to do. Like these women are doing a wonderful job getting out what they need to get out. And none of them are like a seasoned writer. Like, oh yeah, there's one or two that have, you know, co-authored projects. They've done, you know, some things, but the majority of these women are just women who were going to work, taking care of their families, you know, and not really pushing for anything other than that. But it sparked something within them. I've seen one start a business. I've seen one expand her business. I've seen one go from thinking she could never buy a house with her family to they just closed on their first home. She just got a new job. Like it's so inspiring. Like, but I really truly believe that God directed me to each of those women, and He continues to make connections for, you know, we put things out there like, hey, we're looking for contributors and stuff like that. But that's never how it works. That's never how we get the contributors. Like they never come that way. You know what I mean? Like it's always like, you know, He urges me, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll invest in. You know.
Similar
And
to
now
how we
we're
found
getting
you
with
guys. You know, I follow you guys on Instagram, and so at one point I just was like, let me DM them and see if they want to talk. Because when you find a place where your voice is safe, it doesn't matter what you say. There's so much power in conversation. So when we allow our writers or our contributors or even our advertisers to share what's important to them, I tell a lot of people about being seen. You can walk into any room, you be in a room full of people, and you're there. But are you seen is the question. And that's really kind of something that I'd like to leave you guys, as well as the people listening and our subscribers, is when you walk into a room, are you seen? Because if you're not seen in that room, you don't belong. You have to be in places where your voice has power, where the people around you see you, where you are impacting something. I think the reason, if I had to just narrow down my friendship with Carmen, is she sees me. She sees my good, she sees my bad, she sees my ugly, she sees my hurt, she sees my success. She'll clap when I win. She'll dust me off when I fall. So really, it's that we're giving women a place to be seen. And I can't thank you guys enough for seeing our DM so that we can be seen with you, and now have more women who are able to be seen.
I love that.
Yeah, everything you just
Don't cry.
Look, I'm a punk, so I'm like, child.
And it's definitely our pleasure. Like we love when people reach out to us because again, it gives us new perspective. It gives us new exposure. So you all are sharing your audience with us, and we want to share our audience with you. So it's definitely our pleasure. Like I think we still get a kick out of it. Like people want to be on
We
our
do.
show. Like
we
what?
we absolutely get a kick out of it. And not only that, but we love meeting amazing, dope women.
Yes.
Like we love learning from amazing, dope women. We think that iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
This is part of our legacy, right? So this episode and all the episodes, they're a part of who we are on our journey as we grow, as we evolve, as we become into whoever we're going to be in 10 years, right? Probably y'all. That's the goal.
Yes.
Right? Since y'all claiming y'all in y'all 40s.
I know, right?
Y'all better be starting and bopping this part, y'all.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's still hot girl summer. That's
That's right. Do us good.
I don't know if I got the stamina for all this now.
Lady, you got it.
She got it.
But no, but it just is. I think that's what we enjoy and that's what we love, right? Because every time that we have a conversation, like you said, we like to create an environment that is conducive for healing, that is conducive for women to be seen, for women to be heard, and just for us to learn more, for us to see each other more.
Yeah.
And I think that these conversations matter because, and I said on another episode how there's so many Facebook groups of women looking to be friends with women, but then there's also a lot of cattiness and just, things that are unfriendly.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like we have the desire and maybe we just need to show people how. So I want to thank you guys for being that example, right? For being vulnerable, for opening up, for exposing, your deepest secrets, because it, like you said, it has to be a safe place. Otherwise, how do we grow? How do we lean on our friend if we don't have that safety net, right? If we can't trust their confidence, right? If we can't trust that they will take the things that they learn about us and use that to become closer. Yeah. And that's what I hear from you, Lea, is that you're like, okay, I know everything that my friend has been through. Look, first of all, I'm putting out, warnings for the new friends. I'm vetting them because ain't nobody gonna get my friend, like this. And then I also hear just the support. I hear the love. Yeah. I hear the check-ins. Friend check.
Yes, friend check.
Friend check.
That is cute.
And like you said, even I think that you guys influence each other.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys are rooted in the fact that you guys are friends for a purpose. And that you are always working towards that purpose. So even if Caige has to go ahead and just put your name on stuff, child, it's because she know that her girl is going to be there.
Listen, she gonna roll with it.
You gonna roll with it. If she rocking, you rolling.
There we go.
She can do that.
Sometimes somebody has to push us into purpose, and I believe, Lea is so, and she'll probably say the same thing about me. Oh, you're so good at supporting other people and building them up and pushing them out and all that. And I was just like, I have to be my friend because I know this is going to be huge, and she's going to be an executive, and then we're going to work on whatever she wants to work on. Like this is like I just refuse, and I know that she's so gifted at what she does, and she just, like I said, she'll probably tell you something about me. We use our gifts so hard for other people,
right?
But for me, her doing this with me is us building it together. And then whatever that looks like, if next year she says, okay, I want to add this on because I want to watch this, I'll be like, all right, we're going to do this. Like, now I'm going to be your whatever you need me to be for that. And, I want to see her soar. And so that's why I put her name and stuff. Like, I'm just like, come on. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, we will go the hardest to support and do for others than we will for ourselves. And, I'm going to give her a platform first before I give anybody else opportunity.
Right.
That's what's up.
Period.
Yes.
It ain't real unless you say period.
All right.
But we would love to share with you guys and your subscribers as well as our subscribers who are on here. Thank you guys for following us and coming on. We will be hosting a conference in the good old in Florida in April of 2022. We, of course, would love to extend an invite to you ladies who love to travel and foodie. Maybe we can figure out a way for you guys to come spotlight with us and do a workshop and kind of talk more. But we just love the fact that this is making some kind of impact and that we are finding a lot of acceptance in growth. And so we're absolutely excited. You guys can subscribe, influence her, HER. It's not the actual spelling of the word. We have our Instagram page. We do offer advertising opportunities if you want to be a contributor and write. Or if you just want to share a story anonymously, we also allow that too. Where you just have a place where you can just, be seen and share your words. So we're really excited about what 2022 is going to bring.
Yes,
I love it.
Big ups to you ladies. That's exciting. So, let's continue to chat through email.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Florida.
Okay. All right.
We're going to see y'all for lunch, so I'm just waiting for you guys to tell me what day your plane arrives so we can go to lunch.
There we go.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
No,
I gotta feed my friend.
Okay.
Look, that's the way. Look, let me tell you something. That's the way to her heart.
Exactly.
It sure is.
That is the way to her heart. But no, I love it because, like you said, some people think that they're not a writer, but everybody does have a story.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody absolutely has a story, and everyone's story is worthy to be seen, to be heard, to be listened to, to be understood. So we love everything that you ladies stand for. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have to do our to-go box.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yes, we do.
We have to do our to-go box and talk about what we are taking away. So I'm going to start with you, Bestie.
Wow. Yeah, this was a great episode. Definitely just felt like hanging out with my girls on a Monday night, talking, getting everything out and open, which was the foundation for us even starting this podcast. Like, let's just talk and get this stuff off our chest. And then it turned into all this, what you see today. So that definitely I'm taking away just checking in on your strong friend. I know, you hear that kind of target word, but just checking in on all my friends and making sure that I'm being intentional with my time with them and being intentional with supporting her and influencing her and being there for her, and all of those good things. And that's always one thing that I reflect on, especially as I've gotten older. I've been a bad friend, and I tell my friends that they know that. We've talked about that. But it's true. Like, and I can reflect on myself, but I always strive to be better. Like, how can I be a better friend to these women who literally hold me down through everything? So definitely having this conversation with you besties and, sitting here talking with my bestie always allows me to kind of self-reflect and think about how to just be better.
And Lea, what are you taking away?
I think that because I always have my best friend, you never think about other people in the world. And you guys have shown us tonight that there's more besties than we think. It was nice to just kind of feel like that we're not the only two people in the world riding for each other. And that there's other women who are empowering and influencing and building together. And we salute you guys for doing that. So it was nice to just see another us in another state doing some more good.
I love that. And Caige, what is your takeaway?
My takeaway is finding kind of getting people to realize the importance of the conversation, and not just like a lot of people are focused on communication when it comes to business or relationships with a significant other, but having strong communication and just having those ongoing conversations with your friends to be able to clearly articulate your needs, that helps you to continue to build that bestie friendship. It gives besties the type of friendships that we have with each other on this call. Just that communication and that conversation and just keeping it going.
I think my takeaway is not just the communication, but the understanding, right? Because you can say stuff a million times, but if it's not being heard, or if it's like, I think what really hit me is what you said, Leah, about being seen and about being heard. And I love that even though Caige is such a strong, phenomenal woman, that you don't just dismiss or disregard what's going on with her. And same thing with you, Caige, right? Like you see Leah, you hear her, you're like, let me check in. Best friend check. I think that that's really big. And I think that little things can go a long way. Like you said, when I had nothing, my girl had me, right? And I think that we all, that's life, right? Like at some point, what goes up must come down, right? So we're all gonna have those times in our lives where we are down on our luck, down on our last dime, and just having our different struggles and our different trials. And it's so much better when you can go through that with someone and have them lift you up. So I'm grateful to hear such an amazing story of how you guys continue to lift each other up. I'm grateful to hear that even though it's long distance, that you guys make that commitment and you are intentional about fostering and watering and cultivating this friendship as it continues to grow. And in some seasons, like you said, it may change, right, depending on what the needs are. But what I love most is that you are rooted in purpose and that you are very clear on your assignment, and that no matter what, you continue to move forward towards that. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
So thanks for tuning into Brunch with Besties podcast. Until next time,
Peace.